If I start using words like overwhelming, anxious, I feel so defeated, insulted, hurt, shame, guilt, then every experience that you go through on a daily basis becomes very hard for you. And that is how we write a special story about ourselves. So that has to be limited. We have one more activity. So we are actually going to show you an activity with the Coke bottle. That's a Coke bottle. And we are going to do a small science experiment here. So first see the experiment and then I'll build the relevance to the session. Like how is this relevant to the session? So both Viveka and Teja are going to add a Mentos tablet to the Coke in the bottle and see what happens. You can also predict what might happen. So that's the fizz. And Teja quickly kind of put the cap. Viveka, I love the fizz to come out a little. I want to see the fizz a little more.
Sorry, I've already stopped it because it overflowed.
You can put one more possible. I would want to see the little fizz.
It has settled down now.
Okay, done.
Teja, you have one more?
I'm just trying it. Yeah.
You can see. There. All right. Okay, why did we do this is, the bottle here is us, which is you. Like if you ask me, the bottle is Gayatri. The fizz is my thoughts and emotions, which when shaken, that's how it comes out. The Mentos tablet is people around me who trigger me, or the situations which kind of trigger me. And we can have as many Mentos in life as possible, right? Like people do trigger us, situations do trigger us. Yes, you all agree, right? So always remember, people can trigger us, situations can trigger us, but we can choose to react and respond. Whether we want to react or respond is always our choice. We can't control others, but we can definitely control ourselves. So I'm again explaining the activity. Please use it time and again, because these kind of examples, practical examples, will help you understand that it is not so easy to deal with emotions and thoughts. It's the fizz. If you remember, Teja said, when I asked Teja, I would want to see the fizz a little more. Teja said, because it's overflowing, I put the cap, guys. Yes or no? So we don't want to deal with the fizz. We don't want to see the fizz so much because it all looks very messy. When thoughts and emotions come together, it is very messy. It's not an easy thing to clarify them. But the simple logic here is the 90-second rule. So we'll see what the 90-second rule is. All right. So here inside the Coke and the fizz is our thoughts and emotions. Outside, which is the bottle shape, or the bottle is me. Like I will use my name. It is Gayatri. Fizz is thoughts and emotions. And the cap is 90-second rule. So what exactly is 90-second rule? According to Jill Taylor, a Harvard-based brain scientist, she actually researched this technique due to her own personal story. She was a brain scientist, stroke in the brain again. What an irony, a brain scientist, a stroke in the brain again. So she came up with this 90-second rule after a research on her own life, because she had to battle this stroke to the brain, right? It wasn't easy for her. There were a lot of emotions that she had to go through. And she had to bring back her life on track, for which she had to research emotions. That's when she came up with this rule, and she came up with this beautiful concept wherein she differentiated between the body's reaction to an emotion and the mind's reaction to an emotion. So when we all feel anxious or sad, do we experience something at the body level, guys? Like when I'm anxious, I feel that butterflies in my stomach. There is that heaviness in the chest. There is that dryness of mouth. And sometimes for me, when I go anxious, I fumble for words. I go blank at times. There is that overall restlessness, and there's that unsettling thing in the mind. Yes, few people are answering. Sweating. Yes, beautiful. Perspiration. I feel my hands and legs are trembling, and I'm going weak in the legs, right? So these are all physical reactions of an emotion, which means anxiety is the emotion and body is reacting in these ways, okay? Similarly, the mind also reacts to an emotion. How? Through different thought experiences. Oh, this person always says I am lazy. This person is always very judgmental about me. He or she always has mean things to tell about me. So I'm bringing the past, right? Like whatever has happened in the past, the mind is bringing back all the thoughts. Sometimes we travel in the future, and the mind brings back all the fears that we have to foresee, or probably all the fears that we have to overcome. So what we really need to understand is, how do I use this 90-second rule? So Dr. Jill Taylor says, divide the brain and the body, separate them, deal with the body first, then the mind, deal with the body first, then the mind. But what we all do, we kind of get lost in the thoughts. We kind of think how that person has triggered us, how that situation was so difficult to handle. We try to write so many special things about the story. We personalize our story. Oh, my life is like this. Everybody is having excellent life. A client at 31 says, I am not married, Gayatri. Everyone else at my age is married. Everyone is settled. Do you know how it feels? Now I'm writing a story about me at 31 and how it is so special to me. What is it that you're supposed to do? Start dealing with your body first. So whenever you feel that you're not married at 31, and there is a lot of pressure, of course, society, parents, pressure on parents as well to get you married, come back to the bodily reactions. Your body is the first one which is reacting. It feels anxious. There's that knots in the stomach. Yes. So be with your body first, because there is that simple logic. I'll tell you what. When we see a lion, what happens? We would want to run away, right? When we see a lion, what happens? What happens to us?
We run away.
I would instantly run away. I don't know how quickly I would manage that, but instant thing is flee, right? So often we engage in either a fight or a flight. So when a body experiences a threat, when a mind detects a threat, it tells the body, listen, there is a threat. So we need to be prepared, right? So when we see a threat in the external environment, we either want to fly or we either want to fight based on the threat. Okay. As Pooja is saying, I would enjoy seeing lion in the safari. Yes, it's not a threat there because you're in a protected environment. You enjoy, right? But when you actually see a lion outside where you're alone, then it becomes a threat. Then I would want to flee. I don't know how often will I be able to manage to fly away. That's again a mystery, but still I would want to fly away, right? As quickly as possible, escape from the situation. So the point here is coming back to the concepts. So when I am experiencing an emotion, I need to be with my body, which is preparing me for a fight or a flight. If it is a real threat, I will use up all the chemicals. I will run away from the situation or I'll fight in the situation. So all the chemicals that are produced in the body are used up, right? But when a mind is creating a threat, I need to speak today. Right now, I'm speaking to you. Oh my God, Gayatri, I don't think I can do it. They are judging me. What if I fumble? What if you make mistake? What if you can't give this concept clearly? What if you don't do justice to Dr. Jill Taylor's research? It's a wonderful research. These are all the threats that my mind can create. Is it a real threat? No, it's an imaginary threat. But the body still creates the same chemicals. The body still produces the same chemicals because that's what it knows about, right? So where all these chemicals will disappear, will they disappear? I'm not using them. I'm sitting in my chair. My mind is creating threat after threat. My body is reacting. And all the chemicals which are produced in my body for fight or flight are unused and are getting deposited in my body. Am I not abusing my body? When I am being anxious for years together, am I not abusing my body? So I should support my body first. So Dr. Jill Taylor says, reverse the technique. You've been struggling to fight your mind off. Instead, stay with your body and make the experience workable for you. Stay with your body because the body settles just in 90 seconds. All the chemicals produced, all the bodily reactions, like I'm feeling weak in the legs, the butterflies in the stomach, the heaviness in the chest. If the thought doesn't fuel these emotions, the bodily reactions will settle down in just about 90 seconds. What a beauty. When the body settles down, we are at a much better space and shape to handle with our thoughts. We can do it later. But for years together, not just for you, even for me, for years together, we've been trying to calm ourselves through working on our thoughts. Stay positive, think positive. No, you don't have to. It's not that easy. So put it aside. Stay with your body, stay with your emotion. Keep telling yourself in simpler terms. Instead of saying, I am depressed, I am sad, I don't feel good about it. There's a difference. I'm saying I'm depressed. I'm saying I feel sad. I feel bad about it. I'm not okay with it, right? Yes or no? So when you are actually staying with your physical reaction for the first 90 seconds, you're allowing the body to settle down. Ma'am, what should be the alternative for I feel insulted and I feel shame? I feel insulted. Guys, nobody can make you feel insulted if you don't allow. That's the answer. So if I'm getting hurt, if I'm feeling insulted because of the other person, then I need to sit with myself. Why am I getting hurt? Because insult actually comes from a hurt space. So instead of saying I'm insulted, I am hurt. And what about that person's behavior? Or what about me is hurting me? Because sometimes insult can trigger your insecurities also. So you need to sit with yourself and you need to understand what about that person is hurting you. So I am hurt is an alternative. How to deal with feeling overwhelmed? That's what I'm saying. The first step is please use milder terms. Instead of overwhelmed, say I don't feel good. Instead of saying I'm depressed, say I am not feeling okay. I am feeling sad. Something is not okay with me today. I'm not liking what is happening to me. So if you actually see the way I'm talking, I'm repeatedly using I am not okay with what I am doing today. I'm not okay with what is happening to me today. I feel sad. I feel low. I'm using different ways of telling myself that I'm sad, but I'm not using the word depressed. This is important, guys. This is very, very important because this plays a very important role in the kind of emotional environment that you have. If for every example, if I start using words like overwhelming, anxious, I feel so defeated, insulted, hurt, shame, guilt, then every experience that you go through on a daily basis becomes very hard for you. And that is how we write a special story about ourselves. So that has to be limited. So first, tip number 1, stay with your body, be in line with your body, understand what your body is going through, let it calm down first. We can deal with the mind later. The mind can wait, the thought can wait, right? What we did earlier, like the activity that Teja and Viveka did, we have tangled thoughts and emotions. They were cross-stitching, like, from one nail on this side to nail on that side. They were weaving the thread to tell you that we kind of tangle the thoughts and emotions by ourselves only. Like in the last example, the teacher spoke to the mother for about 15 minutes and said that we need to work on your child. How will the mother detangle the whole experience? She will tell herself the whole day or probably whole week that I was told that I am a bad mother. And then she goes and tells her husband, we were told that we are bad parents. Repetition of the same story. Probably the next day, she'll call up her mother and say, you know what happened yesterday? This is what the teacher told. Repetition of the same experience. Again, I'm telling repeatedly that I was told I'm a bad mother. The teacher spoke for about 15 minutes. But how much am I repeating in my own mind through repeatedly telling other people multiple times? So am I allowing my body to settle down? No, the mind is not allowing the body to settle down. So each time I repeat the story, my body gets triggered again and again. So I'll start feeling anxious again. I'll start feeling bad again. I'll start feeling hurt again. And my body feels unsettled. That's how we prolong our emotional experiences. So the tip here is, whenever someone triggers you, the Mentos and the Coke, whenever someone is putting Mentos into your body, which is the bottle, let the fizz come out. Don't stop it. Come back home. If you want to talk about the teacher, write it down on a paper. If you want to probably scold the teacher for not giving you an opportunity to speak up, bring up your anger, hurt, sadness completely on paper without a filter, but only do it with yourself. Don't repeat the same story with multiple people, because they will add their own perspective into your experience, another Mentos and another fizz. So this is how we don't allow our emotions to settle down. So the tip number 2 here is, sit with yourself, talk to yourself, write it down, because that's when you're putting the cap. You're not allowing the other people to add another tablet into your Coke bottle, right? We are starting with another example here. I'm going with my own example. This time the situation example is, had a conflict with a colleague, disagreed with me. So I had a conflict with a colleague of mine at workplace. He or she disagreed with me. I felt I had an important point to make, but however, he or she disagreed with me. What do you think the thoughts would be? In this kind of a situation, what do you think the thoughts would be? What do you think? First, the thoughts. What do you think the thoughts would be? Anger. Anger is an emotion. Pain is an emotion. Excellent. Hurt is an emotion. Frustration, stress, frustration, take me for granted. They have taken me for granted. It's a thought. So if you actually see, it's a combination. See how your thought process is working right now. Whenever I'm asking thoughts and emotions, they're coming together. They have taken me for granted is a thought. Irritation is an emotion. So when someone triggers you, it's actually emotion and thought coming together. No appreciation, don't want to work. That's like a conclusion from one situation, or probably from my past experiences. Urge to argue, very much with you. I always have the urge to argue and make my point win. Yes. So all of these are thoughts and emotions together, right? So let's come back to the example. Now here, few of the thoughts I've put together is, my communication skill is so poor. I wasn't able to communicate what I wanted. Probably that's why he didn't get it or she didn't get it. I was so passive. Like, how could I allow that other person to kind of disagree with me and walk away from the situation? I should have asked him to stay and listen to me. I was so passive. I don't know how to put my point forward. They have taken me for granted. I feel so attacked, right? The emotions in this situation could be stressed, disrespected, insulted, unheard, very mean, silenced, disgusting. And how my body reacts, I have a headache and I feel so weak and tired at the end of the day when I return back home, right? Let's use this example to give as many tips as possible to you guys. So how do you think you can put the 90-second rule to use now? Now, what should you work on first? Jill Taylor said body first and then mind. So what should I stay with first? The emotions? What are the words that you need to use? Can I use words like disgusting? Wow, I feel low. Excellent. Low. Beautiful. In a milder term, I'm redefining my emotional experiences. I'm not using heavy words. I need to sleep. Wonderful. I have a headache. I need to do something. Probably I need a hot cup of tea. I have a splitting headache. I need to handle that first. I need to meditate. I wouldn't pick this up because it wouldn't work in this kind of a scenario immediately. Why am I not taking responses like stay calm, meditate? Because this is the only reason why we are so emotional as individuals. You know why? Because in our culture, when we are raised, emotions are always portrayed as bad. Especially the negative emotions like anger, sad, crying. We are always told not to overreact. We are always told stay calm. We are always told, why are you crying so much? If it is a boy, probably we'll tell them, why are you crying like a girl? So always our emotions are curbed, guys. We are always told that you need to control your emotions. So the change in perspective needed here is all emotions need an expression. The fizz needs to come out. Why did we do the experiment where we allowed the fizz to come out and then we put the cap? Do you remember in the experiment, I allowed the fizz to come out and then I put the cap. So emotion needs an outlet. So I can't say I need to stay calm, I need to walk, I need to meditate. No, these are regular things that you're listening from people who are telling you to work on your emotions, to curb your emotions. You don't need to. You don't need to suppress your emotions. You don't need to curb your emotions. You need to allow them to come out first. And that's when they are easy to settle down. The more you try to suppress them, the more it becomes difficult for you to handle. So first thing is, stay tuned with that emotion. Describe that emotional experience to you again and again. Don't go away from that emotional experience. I feel stressed. I feel unheard. I feel my voice was not given a hearing, was not heard. I was silent, right? So I'm putting the same experience in milder terms. Oh, how disgusting can he be or can she be? How disrespectful. I will leave the job immediately. I will make my whole experience just about that situation. Got it? So we need to address the emotion, stay tuned with that emotion and describe that emotion in milder terms for the first 90 seconds. That's all. For the first 90 seconds. The fizz will settle down in just about 90 seconds. Can't we give ourselves that 90 seconds? Should we talk about calming ourselves down, shutting ourselves up, meditating in first 90 seconds itself? No. We are coming from a culture where we are told work on your emotions immediately. We don't have to. Allow them to just come out. If you think people don't listen to you or I don't have an environment where I can express, because this would be our first challenge that most clients for me say, for me kind of, express, then put it on a paper, crumple it, throw it in a dustbin. Don't read it again. You don't have to. You don't have to. Put it on a paper, unfiltered. It's okay to kind of bring it out in your own words. Please don't shy away from using certain words. You have all that anger, put it down on paper. Use simpler terms, subtler terms, bring everything out, crush it, put it into a dustbin. The fizz settles down in the first 90 seconds. That's how I start the detangling process. How do I detangle my thought? My thought is not going to stay calm because it says, in the past also this person, this colleague of yours reacted like this. He doesn't respect you. For some reason, you're not able to earn respect at work. I think your skill is not being communicated. There is a gap. Why do you think people are disrespecting you so often? Are you really worth of this job? Are you worthy enough? Did you ask yourself? This is what thought does to you. It brings in the past, it brings in the future fears, it mixes up everything, it tangles everything, knots everything, and everything becomes such a huge thing for us. So first stay with the emotion, then come to the thought. What do I do with the thought? Because I think most of you were asking me this. After I do with the emotions, done with the emotions, the first 90 seconds is done, the physical reactions settle down, then what should I do? Then comes the thought. You know what you have to do? All the thoughts that tell you that either you are not correct or the other person is not correct or the situation is not correct, make a note of all the thoughts, but don't address them then. Make a note of all the thoughts, don't address them then. You know what this does? It stops the analysis paralysis in our minds. We are raised in culture where we are all people pleasers. I think majority of us, including me, are people pleasers. We want people to like us. We want people to appreciate us. We want people to reward us. We want people to like us basically, right? And you know where people pleasing started from? It started from parent pleasing. We started pleasing our parents first. So don't try to work on your thoughts as and when you have the experience. Write it down, then keep the little book away. Come back to that book after a day or two, not immediately. Your thought can wait. You know what you're doing to that thought? You're saying you are important to me, and that is why I have written it down. But you are not that important that I'm actually stopping my day activity and attending to you. I'm not interested in staying with you. You got to talk to your thought like this. Otherwise, most of the times when we start addressing our thoughts then and there, it is called analysis paralysis. It cuts down your action. A person with excessive analysis of their thoughts is a person who's paralyzed. They themselves have paralyzed themselves. They can't act. So this is the another most important tip to handle your thought. Write down all your thoughts, but don't address it then. Tell your thought you're important. That's why I've written it down. I'll think about it. But not so much important that I stop all my day activity and cater to you. So you got to tell it to stop. Then, the moment you start doing this repeatedly, the thought understands that I am becoming an unwelcome guest. I have to wait. So the thought learns to wait. It's just like the guest. As soon as the guest comes, I make the guests sit at home, serve them tea, coffee, everything, and every half an hour I'm giving something or the other to the guests. I'm welcoming the guest. Fair enough. I can once in a while. But I find doing it to everybody, a laundry person who's here to give me laundry, probably a postman who's here to deliver me something. If I'm catering to everybody as a guest, what about me? What about my time? What about my action? I move away from my action. And guys, always remember, when mental health issues take us over, we can't act. For years together, people don't show actions, and it is only action which can protect us from any kind of mental health issue. Where there is no action, we are falling prey to depression, anxiety, you name it. We are falling prey to it. So please repeatedly tell yourself, I have written the thoughts down. I will address them when I want to. But I will keep continuing with my action.